Hey, hey, hey. It's 12 o'clock on Monday. You know what time it is? It's time for Make It Happen Monday. So if you are new or if you haven't been here for a while, because I haven't, oh, I'm just talking, because I haven't been here for a while, Make It Happen Mondays is a moment where we take a little bit of time out of our busy lives so we can be informed, inspired, and make it happen for the rest of the week. So if you do not know me, I'm Monique and I'm your host of Make It Happen Mondays, but I'm also the founder of She's Rising. And so listen, some of y'all know this, some of you don't because you're newer. And by the way, as you come in, please say hello. Please say hello in the comments because I'm checking them out. I'm looking for them because I want to say hello back. Okay. So make sure you say hello as you come in. All right. So some of y'all know, some of you are new. So I'm going to tell you, I moved to the island of St. Martin in January of this year. And so I live between here and Cleveland, Ohio in the States. And for those that don't know, I'm also a mompreneur. I have three wonderful, handsome sons that are 20, 17, and 13. And I run a consulting and coaching business that aims to help Black women live out their dreams, but address any feelings of uncertainty, fear, and doubt that get in the way of that. Right. And I've been cooking up something good, so good this Wednesday. If you don't know, I'll be hosting a free webinar, Living Caribbean, How to Live Your Dream Life Now. Right now. That's why I'm here on the island. Yes, I have children, but I live in between here in the States because I wanted to live my dream life now. And so I'll be sharing with you what I did, but most importantly, I'll be helping you do the same. And so you don't know me. If you don't know, if you do know, I love to have a good time. So I'm not just going to be talking at you. Yes, I teach. I was a professor, all of those things, but I love to make it interactive. We're going to be doing live coaching and making sure that we set up some goals for you all, some habits, whatever it is that you need to begin to move towards that dream life. So here is the link. I put it in there right now. Hi, Alacia. Love made of steel. Hello, hello. As you guys come in, please make sure that you say hello so I can say hello back. But I just put a link in the comments for the webinar for you to sign up for it. Okay. So y'all know Make It Happen Mondays is a guest and we have shifted. So it is like me and her, whoever my guest is, we're having a conversation and we are inviting you into our conversation. And in the month of July, we've talked about freedom. Juneteenth, we celebrated it. The 4th of July, we celebrated it. And what I know that most of us, the women that I work with, the Black women in my program and coaching, fear. Me, what I deal with, fear. Fear is almost the number one thing that stops us from pursuing our dreams, our desires, our aspirations. And so our focus of Make It Happen Mondays this July is faith over fear. And I have none other than, I'm not going to tell you yet, joining us, but let me tell you something. She is not going to disappoint. Hi, Tony. How are you? Oh, hi. How you, Vet? All right. So I am going to read and introduce her. I'm going to read her bio, and then I'm going to have her join. As a byproduct of the adoptive and social service systems, LaToyia Jones is well acquainted, gave you, look, I told you who it was, with the effects of childhood abandonment and parental wounds. She is committed to walking adults and teens who have contemplated suicide through the process of discovering their purpose and living a fulfilled life through engaging individual and group coaching sessions, speaking engagement, and outreach efforts. Joan founded Alive on Purpose, which is an organization that builds suicide prevention awareness through support, intervention, self-discovery, and started an annual Him Me, which is Northeast Ohio's largest annual father-daughter dance. Now, LaToyia has turned her sights on children's empowerment books. So in each story, she provides a glimpse into countless possibilities young minds can experience through adventurous exploration. She encourages children to be creative, explore their full depths of their imagination, and to open their eyes to the wonders of the world around them. And I believe that this is just the tip of the iceberg for LaToyia. So let's welcome her. All my guests choose their song as they walk in. And so hers is a little different, which is what I love and appreciate about her. But let's hear it.
For when we're fed up with with the journey. She's beauty. I am. I am. I am. I am amping up the volume on my inner guide.
Okay.
I am amping up the volume on my inner guide.
What else they got?
I know there is always rooting before blossoming.
Okay, rooting before blossoming.
I know there is always rooting before blossoming.
Okay, let's get one more.
I am alive because I am of dope use. Purpose doesn't wait for a paycheck.
Okay.
I am alive because I am of dope use. Purpose doesn't
Welcome, Toya.
Thank you. Hey, y'all.
All right, so that was a little different. That was not our regular song. But when we talked about what was your Make It Happen song, that's what you sent over. So tell us a little bit about like who Bloomsville Affirmations and why that's your Make It Happen song.
Yeah, so I found that on YouTube or Instagram, something, and I listened to it. Trust me, my mind be going crazy left sometimes. And that's my song to go the other way. Okay. So there's tons of affirmations in that song that just gets you to realize how dope and amazing you are. So when you're up against those negative thoughts, you can say to yourself, I'm alive and I'm of dope use. Like I'm here and I'm going to do some things with my purpose. So sometimes you just need that other voice to counteract the bad one.
And ain't no such thing as you graduated and don't ever need it. Like I've learned you got to constantly keep feeding that to yourself. Yep. Okay. So I was super excited about today. Super, super excited. I was telling you, sometimes I'm a little nervous, but I was more excited about this today. So our relationship goes back to, God, it's been a lot of years now. Maybe 20. I didn't realize it was that long. Maybe 2016, maybe.
It's a long time. Yeah.
Was the first time. And so y'all, she did a purpose call for me. So I went to one of my girlfriends, Valencia, had her female group at the library, and Toya was there, and she offered these purpose calls. So I remember me and my sons got a purpose call, and the way that she read me and the things that she spoke in my life, like literally, I told her, literally to this day, I'm still thinking about what you told me on that day, especially like when I spill something or something don't go right, and you like, listen, you the one to be like, girl, I spilled coffee all over myself today and it was a hot mess. And you was like, people need to hear that. Mm-hmm. You are still in my head constantly in regards to that purpose call. It was amazing. Awesome. Amazing. So that's why I'm excited, because I know that if that many years ago, what you spoken to me is still in me, I'm excited for whoever is on this live, whoever is watching, whoever views later, to get some of that. So thank you for agreeing to share that with us today.
You're welcome.
All right. So, we start with this, right? Something fun and quirky about you that other people may not know.
I'm super silly, for real, for real. I think everybody thinks I'm super serious because of the work that I do. And then, when I show up to most places, I'm like I'm reading the room. I'm trying to figure out whose purpose I need to figure out. So I'm really like detailed and focused. But outside of there, I am the silliest person you would meet. I'm always cracking jokes. I don't think I'm a comedian or anything, but I'm totally opposite of what more people think of me online. So I am super, super funny.
You super funny. Do people be laughing?
I don't know. I think they be like, should I laugh?
As you be laughing.
I'm laughing at myself. You don't got to laugh. I'm going to laugh at myself. But I think I'm funny. That's all that matters.
Right. That's all that matters. If y'all are just tuning in, go ahead. If you know other women who have dreams, goals, or aspirations that they're trying to pursue, and they might be fear. If you ever say like, I'm scared, or you hear them say, I'm scared, go ahead and send them this link or tell them to go to Monique Inc. on YouTube so they can catch this conversation, because we don't want to miss it. Okay. And as you come in, please say hello. We're looking for you to also add comments, ask questions, because we want this to be an engaging conversation. It's like we're in the room together. Let's act like we're in the room together. So Toya, you started Live on Purpose. You do Him and Me Dance. A lot of, like you talk about that your purpose is to help people find their other purpose. I think you say you bring dead things to life. Is that
Yeah, I'm the human resuscitator.
Okay. You're a
resuscitator. I gotta be clear. I'm her.
Okay. What, like, in general, what led you, and we're going to get into more details, what led you to that path and for you to know that was the path that you were supposed to take?
Yeah, it's accidental, of course. I mean, I don't think, unless you really have somebody in your life who's speaking into you from existence, do you really kind of figure it out early? I think you stumble upon it. It is the influx of all the good moments. And you're like, I do good at this. I'm good at this. People are responding to me because I'm doing this. I think all of those ingredients mixed in the pot. And I was like, wait a minute, I think I have something here. But more specifically, it was after my mother died in 2004, where it was just, I was like 22 years old. I had to figure it out. I had to figure out how to navigate grief. I had to figure out how to move forward. And I knew other people were feeling the same thing I was. Like, I didn't have all the ingredients I have today, but I knew that if I'm hurting because my mother died and I'm 22 years old, there must be a whole world of women also hurting. Okay. If I'm suicidal because my mother's dying, then there must be another piece of the world who's also feeling the same way. Mm-hmm. And I knew through church and through proper teaching that I had a gift to help people. So I just put those two ingredients together and I just got started. It was just that simple for me.
And so for you, was it about people moving through their grief by figuring out and finding their purpose?
Yeah, not as 2004. I wasn't that organized, Monique.
Okay,
it was.
Yeah, really it just hit me like, oh, that's where like that. There was alignment in that, right?
Yeah, it was for real. It was. You know what? I felt like at 20-something years old that I had the tools to get through this, and I was like, let me teach people the tools. Like, life isn't against you. It isn't all bad. There is glory after this. All the stuff that we're taught, I actually believe that stuff. And so I really wanted to teach people that they can be inspired by their pain. And I know that sounds so weird, but at 22 years old, I was like, you can live after this, trust me. And so it started that simple. And then through the years, I began to, as I talked to people on the phone, understand the specifics to each person. Like, I knew why Monique should live. I knew why Tiffany should live. I knew why Tony should live. And then I began to get more insightful on purpose. Like, if these are the things that people have inside of them, and these are the reasons why they should live, then this must be what God had in mind when he created them. And if they can somehow tap into that, then they can withstand and understand everything that's happening to them by simply being on target to the reason why they were created. And so over the years, it got strengthened, it got sharpened, it got more and more the purpose coach, the teacher of purpose, things like that.
Yeah. I literally, out of all these years, I know what you do, it's the first time that I put those two things together. And so what that tells me also is, like, sometimes we are very focused on trying to figure out the organization of what we do, the connection, how this leads to that. Yeah. And I'm guilty of it as I pivot in my own business. I'm trying to put all the things together. And by simply moving on what you're drawn to do, the pieces start to unfold. So that's a word for somebody.
That's a word.
That's a word for somebody. Just do the thing that's in your heart to do, even on a small scale. And the rest of it will begin to flow.
Yeah.
That's the word. Hi, Deborah. Thank you for joining. So that is what your purpose is. So our conversation today is really about fear and faith over fear. And I'm curious if there was a time in your life where you were afraid, the fear paralyzed you.
Yeah.
And you didn't end up doing something that you really wanted to do or was in your heart to do.
You know, I think that most times when I was afraid, it was because of somebody else's crippling on top of me.
What
I mean by that is parents, aunties, cousins, uncles, bosses, brothers, sisters. It was those people. It was never me by myself. It was always the influx of somebody else's opinion on top of mine, right? We're worried about what they think. You know, the days in the world.
Yeah.
It was never because of me alone. It was always somebody else. And I say that because when it was me alone, my mindset always was one step at a time.
Yeah.
It's like that Michael Jackson. Remember that Michael Jackson video where he steps on the sidewalk and the sidewalk light?
Yeah.
When I navigate life on my own, I'm stepping one light at a time. So I don't need to worry about what's happening 10 feet ahead of me because I understand that 1 + 1 = 2. But what happens is when you're on that light and the world surrounds you, auntie, uncle, cousin, sister, brother, you begin to wonder if you should step at all.
And society and norms and other people's expectations.
All the things.
But were you always that clear in the moment that fear was coming from that? Were you always able to decipher that I'm not really scared? It's they're scared on me.
I had loud parents. Not always. You know what? For me, when I learned it, so a little bit about my story. If you guys don't know, I'm adopted. So my biological mother died first, and then in 2019, my adopted mother passed. Now my adopted mother was the louder voice.
Okay.
And when she passed, it was such a freedom. So this may sound awkward to your viewer. They might be like, "How do you have freedom in death?" But there was such a freedom that happened because the voice that had crippled my decisions was no longer here. And that's when I realized, like, oh my God, it wasn't LaToyia's fear 100%. It was the fear of not pleasing people. It was the fear of letting people down. It was the fear of not being good enough. It was the fear of failure that was imposed upon me. And I just say that to anybody who's watching, sometimes you have to stop and think about it. Where is this fear coming from? Am I scared of the snake, or is my mother scared of the snake? And has she been telling me about snakes for 20 years and now I'm scared?
Yes.
So you have to really separate it and pull it apart and realize where the fear is coming from in the first place.
And I would encourage that to be all the time.
All the time.
Because that's what I was saying. I'm reading Atomic Habits right now. And it was talking about, like, there was just one sentence. I was like, oh my God, I have to share it. Because what it talked about is there is no belief system belief that we have that didn't come from somewhere. And what I said is the fear masks itself. It masks itself in that's not the responsible thing for me to do. Right? Really, there's fear behind that. Yeah. And until you stop to say, like, where does that come from? Who told me that? Is it really true? Then you're operating fear under the false mask of responsibility.
I love it.
Right? So when you say that's powerful, because it's like you first have to know and give yourself the space to say, is this me or is that something else? And if it is me, why is it? So I love that. I love that. But what did it stop you from doing?
So I think it's so funny because I came across this morning. So I'll tell you guys real time what happened to me this morning. Okay. So I had a PR conversation because I'm trying to elevate my brand, my company to new levels. And I want to kind of reach the world. And this person was telling me about the pitch that she has sent to CNN and Essence and all these different places. And as she was talking about me, like she's raving and you're great and you're awesome and you're an industry expert and you're a parenting expert, I began to cry. I felt this overwhelming sense of like fear. Yeah. Tears are welling up in my eyes because I now realize that everything that she says about me, I have to show up and become.
Yes.
Right. So if CNN calls, I have to answer the interview. Right. If Oprah calls, I have to show up. Right. And so that is scary.
Yes.
Because everything in me, I'm like, can I really do the things that I've always told myself I can do? And so real time at 10 o'clock this morning, I was facing fear.
Yes.
And in real time, I had to literally separate, where is this coming from? Why do you feel this way? Well, it comes from fear of abandonment. It comes from a life of rejection. It comes from foster care and parents not speaking into my life. Yes. And then in real time, I had to do exactly what I'm telling y'all to do. I had to say, no, you are alive and of dope use. You are going one step at a time. And by the time they call you, you're going to be okay. Because you're going to learn so much between step 1 and step 10 that's going to prepare you for step 20. You're going to be fine. It's step 1, Toya. It's step 1, Toya. It's step 1, Toya. It's step 1, Toya. And I had to do all of this real time. But think about this, Monique. Think about the magnitude and the impact if I would have said, never mind. So here I have this PR company helping me for free reach the masses. And the only thing hindering me from opportunity is myself.
And fear is almost doing it. Like it's almost making you say, oh, never mind. Or maybe not CNN or Oprah. Let's start with this and this and
whatever, right? And so what you have to begin to do is realize that first, if the opportunity is coming, that means you're called to it.
Yes.
2, if the vision or idea came, that means it's already in your plan and in your lifespan.
Yes.
And 3, fear is not always bad.
No.
Right? So you're afraid because you're operating in a new territory, in a new place, doing something you've never done before. You have to detach the good fear from the negative experience.
Okay, you're saying a lot now. We got to break it. We got to break it down and make it practical. Oh God, I don't have my notes. I usually be taking notes. I can come back to it. Mr. Booker said, "Hey, Mr. Booker," he said, "Fear, face everything and rise." I posted that last week because we always say false expectations appear real. And I was saying, no, face everything and rise. So first, let's go back because you're like, where's the fear coming from? And you named fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, you know, fear of this. And so what I want to bring out there is that it wasn't just a big, like a fear, like we just like, I'm afraid, or there's fear, but we don't break down, or should I say, let's start to break down where the fear is really coming from. Because when you break down where the fear is coming from, you then can begin to address those specific areas of fear, those things of healing. That's why I say, and I could, you know, you might not agree, and a lot of people don't agree. You know, we talk about I'm healed, healed. And I say healing.
I'm never right. I ain't there yet.
Right. Because everything that you thought, everything that you have become and who you are as a woman didn't stop you from when it was time to go to CNN and Oprah, you started to, right? So that fear of rejection, there's still some healing opportunities in there, right? And if we don't get specific into what it is that is really causing the fear and where it comes from, then we don't get to address it so we can prevent it from happening the next time, you know? So I love that you said that. Yeah. Love that you said
it's no different than when I look at fear and anything else that happens to our body. It's no different than you getting a runny nose and your body alerting you that something's about to happen if you don't take care of it, right? It's no different than your elbow starting to hurt and your body trying to say, hey, pay attention to me. So fear has to occur for your body to say, hey, new level is coming. You don't yet have the skill. Work on that. Opportunity is coming. You haven't done this before. You may need to sharpen a little bit, work on that. It's just a pivot to help you understand what journey is before you. So
new opportunity has presented itself and it's triggering something in you that you have not dealt with yet.
And it's time. And now it's time.
It's
not bad. It's just your body and your path and your journey saying now it's time. And so when people always tell me I have no idea what's going on in my life, sure you do. Your body is always letting you know what's next. So I know for LaToyia, this next season is going to be a season of what? Unlocking and unhiding.
Okay. I'm coming with you.
Let's go.
Speaking of not hiding, share this to all your people. So they can tap in and get some of this wisdom. Okay, go ahead. We're not hiding because we're not hiding.
Because that's what the season needs, right? In order to show up, you must first be seen. So what you're afraid of is being seen, which lets you know what you have to work on to be seen.
Right.
It's all the same sentence. You have to unpack the sentence. What am I afraid of? Okay, that means I need to work on it because that's what the next season requires. Listen, the teacher never gives. Listen, the practice test comes before the real test.
Yeah.
And she always gives the pre-answers before the test, right? She always tells you, hey, the test is going to be on. So no different than life. God is saying, hey, Toya, your next test is going to be on showing up.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the alerts here, letting you know what's coming. Letting you know what's coming. Next season, you're going to have to show up. Next season, you have to show up. Are you going to conquer the fear and rise? Or are you going to hide and stop? Because I'm letting you know what the next season looks like for you. It's going to look like opportunity. It's going to look like being seen. It's going to look like PR. You have to be ready. Get your weight in control. Get your thoughts in control. Get your identity in control. Get your confidence in control because it's time to go.
And let's talk about that, right? That whole identity piece, which is another thing that has been coming up a lot. And in a training that I just went through, they talked about how we'll try to, if you think about a speedometer, right? Our identity is 75. We could keep pressing forward, but we're going to continue, just like a car is going to try to continue to get back to whatever it is that we're used to.
I love
And
it.
that's our identity and how we see ourselves. When he taught that, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Because our work is, we focus so much on the outcome. Even what you're describing of what you're learning in the process, that ultimately is what the outcome is. But we be focused on the outcome, the money, the job, the business, whatever the case may be. Whereas in God is more interested in who we become in the process of that. Because if we become that, we just walk into whatever it is that he set out for us to do. And that identity, right? Because you can walk around saying, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Or similar to your affirmations, you can walk around saying, I'm dope and I'm meant to be here.
Yeah.
It's all in how you see yourself. That helps you understand, that helps you conquer the fear in a different kind of way. That identity is huge.
It's forward moving too, Monique, because if you give in to fear, you literally put a mark, you stand still, right? And so what we often do, what we often do is we have paralyzed, I love that. We have paralyzed people standing still, trying to engage and interact with life, family, events, kids, social media. But I'm standing still. I haven't moved or advanced at all. I'm just interacting with the world around me.
God,
what you should be doing, right, is advancing, and the world moves with you. So why is the environment around you still the same? Why is the people around you still the same? Because you have literally been paralyzed interacting. But when I move, you move just like that, right? So when I move, everything around me has to move. And here's a nugget. This might be a little off subject, but you may be wondering, like, you may be moving, and you may be like, Toya, I tried that. I tried to move, and everything around me fought me. The reason why everything around you is fighting as you move is because you're seeing it, you're showing it to them for the first time. So as you heal, you're holding up a mirror around you. And they like, we ain't trying to go there. We cool back here. We ain't trying to go up there. You getting unlocked, you getting unafraid, you coming out of hiding. What are you doing? And as you do that, you're holding up mirrors all around you.
Yes.
People have not agreed to move.
Yes.
I didn't say I wanted to go. And so that's the resistance that you're feeling. And what most people do is they understand that resistance and they go back into paralyzation because it's more comfortable to the environment around you. But again, yes, Alacia, what you got to do is you move, I move, just like that. And if you don't want to move, I'll see you later, because there's a mission and an assignment and a purpose on my life. And I have to fulfill this thing because there's people depending on me. There's companies depending on me. There's checks that I have to sign. There are financial agreements that have my name on it. And I'm not in the right season, the right rhythm at the right time. I'm going to people. So I got to leave. But I got to go.
Yes.
And if they want to go, they'll be inspired by your journey. But you can't forfeit the promise keeping people comfortable.
Right. That's good. You can't forfeit the promise by keeping people comfortable. That's good. So we have.
I'm preaching on here, Monique. This is good.
You are preaching, girl. I said, wait a minute now. Listen. So we have talked about. Look, they put in the comments, unlocking and hiding. When I move, you move, just like that. We have talked about how fear is not just this one word, this abstract concept, but it's actually rooted in something. Oftentimes it's rooted in the fear of those and the way that others have conformed you or tried to conform you to their way of thinking and their way of doing and their way of behaving and acting. And we don't even realize, Rachel Rogers talks about that a lot, how much of that is just built into our social conditioning. That's why I'm committed to serving Black women. It's not because I don't care about anybody else. And yes, we as women of color do have struggles, but there is nobody that has the story and the experience of Black women. And it's because the United States and the byproduct of that is the world has told us how we are supposed to be and how we are supposed to show up and raised us up in a spirit of fear. You understand? Where we have learned to conform because no, we can't do that. I told a story about one of my clients that I was working with and how we just believe like, oh, the system don't operate that way. Or, oh no, I can't do that. And oh no, we can't do that. Right. And so you have that part of fear, but also the one that when it's time for you to rise to another level, all the stuff that comes up. And what you were telling us is, hey, that's telling you, just like your nose is, when your nose runs, it's telling you something that you need to address. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. So you just gave a whole lot of nuggets in that little bit of time. In that little bit of time. Nuggets on us.
You gotta watch the replay. Watch the replay.
I watched the replay to get it all. I just summed it up. But when I love to tell women how to do it in a practical way, mm-hmm. right? So when you think about something that you were afraid to do, yep. but you did it anyway, walk us through your process.
Yeah. So my process always starts beyond me, right? I always look and think about the impact of me not doing it. Right. Okay. What is the impact if I don't say yes? What is the impact if I don't go? What is the impact if I choose to be paralyzed? I always think there first, because I truly believe that we were given God-given assignments. And I believe we're all superheroes in some portion of this world. And your superpower is necessary to the construction of the way the world works, or necessary to the freedom of somebody else. It's a person on the podcast, hopefully they're still here, with Love Made of Steel, right? They talk about strengthening marriages and singles, right? So there's an environment and community of people who are waiting for their marriage to work so that they can have hope and prosperity in their singleness to the same destination. If they choose to stop, it only delays the inevitable for them. And them being the customer base, them being the assignment, them being the population. So they can stop whenever they want to. But now I got to wait another 6 months in my singleness and for my husband, because my instructions are in the mouth of the people who stopped.
Will so you get off my porch? Get off my porch. Okay.
You have to think about the impact. So same thing for you. You are now listen, you are now literally moving to other territories. Forget the islands. That's just the physical piece. But you're moving from territories beyond the limitations of the mind. So if you stop, my mind is literally limited to what I already know. I would never go beyond the United States, what I know. Some people ain't even been to the west side, Monique.
Right.
It's the limitations of what you just described. I love working with Black women because of the conditioning. So you are breaking conditioning.
Got to break them conditions. We got to do breakthroughs. We got to do breakthroughs, right?
There's a street with your name on it. There's a street with the Steel's name on it.
I knew she was going to
have dominion over that street. There's a street with LaToyia's name on it. Yeah. And whether it's 5 people, 10 people, or 10 million people, you have an assignment to that work. That's step number 1.
So let me say. Pause there. Can I pause there? Well, I don't know how many more steps I can take if that was step number 1. But can I say this? Listen, I should have known you was gonna do it. Like it was gonna come on me in some way, right? We was talking about this, like how this is before us. I minister to myself. But why I love that is because oftentimes, unfortunately, doing it for us is not enough. Mm-hmm. Like we don't fight for us.
Yeah.
We don't show up for us the way we show up for other people. And so what I love is, one, because what God gave you is bigger than you anyway. And that's a reminder. Like it's bigger than you. Get out your feelings and do what it is that I told you to do. That's 1, right? It ain't about you. But 2, when you can't find it in you for you, you think about everybody else in this world that needs you to show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That gives it
back, Monique. Let me circle it back. It is about you. Because in my statement alone of telling you what the world needs from you is only an affirmation of what's in you in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? So it is always about you. It's about your belief system to believe exactly in the trust. So I was watching someone on Instagram the other day and said the key word or the root word to confidence is the word confide. The root word to the word confidence is the word confide. And all confide means is trust. Do you trust yourself enough that you can actually do what you think and believe that you want to do?
But most people don't. A lot of people don't trust themselves enough.
And that's step 1. So somebody said Billie Jean. The reason why they don't is because they're looking at the map, or they're looking at the road, and they're seeing all 20 steps. But guess what? Step number 1 is always believable. Step number 1 is always within their access. Step number 1 is always within the things they know how to do. We have taught the world to go from 0 to 60 in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I've been doing this thing for 13 years. I'm probably still on step 12.
Right.
It is step 1, then step 2, then step 3. So if anybody is watching this podcast and you think that your vision or your dreams are 100 years ahead, or they're just so big and so far away, it's probably because you're looking at the finish line and you're not looking at step 1. Because step 1 is send the email. You know how to do that. Step 1 is apply for the job. You know how to do that. Step 1 is call your girlfriend and get an opinion. You know how to do that.
Right.
Everyone knows how to do step 1.
Right.
The problem is the world has taught us that you have to have step 10 figured out. And
before you do step 1. Yeah.
Step 1 is first. Step 1 is first. Listen, here's how to make it relatable.
Yeah.
The Bible, I know we're religious. The Bible says that when we pray the Lord's Prayer, we say on earth as it is in heaven. We need to believe that in heaven it has already occurred. And my job is to line up with what is falling down on me.
That's good.
So all you need to do is simply go to the next light up Billie Jean moment. Go to the sidewalk that's lighting up and look up and wait for the thing to fall down. When it falls down, you have the next set of instructions. Go to the next step and you wait for the next piece to fall down. I have no idea how I'm going to get to CNN, but I know the first step is get dressed.
That's good.
I know the second step is call somebody to do my makeup. I know the third step. You see what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know when I get there, but I understand how to drive. I know how to put the address in GPS. I know how to ring the doorbell. I know how to say, hello, my name is LaToyia. I know how to sit on the couch and look cute. I know how to do a sound check. And when I get there, I'm hoping that something falls down from heaven on top of me that gives me the words and the things I need to say, but I know how to get there. You're so afraid of CNN, and I'm talking to myself, but you're so afraid of that you don't want to go, but you know how to get there.
And
we're going to dumb it down.
And how much pressure does that relieve when you think it's already there? I just have to get in alignment so it can fall down. That's it. Get into alignment so it can fall down.
People are not applying for the jobs because they don't know. I don't know if I can do it. You don't need to know. Click the button, hit submit, and when you call your instructions in your email, you don't need to know. And that's if I don't do nothing else on this podcast, my message is you don't need to know. Fear is not even real. It is you experiencing something that you've never done before. And guess what? You don't even need to worry about how it's going to get done. If you feel it in your heart that it's yours and this is meant for you, then all you got to do is follow the steps. And what's going to fall down is going to fall down and you'll be just fine.
I love that. And that fear is not a thing, because they always say we do things. I've heard before that we do things out of one or two places. It's either a spirit of love or a spirit of fear. Whichever one you choose creates a completely different outcome. Completely different outcome. So your first step is to say, what is the impact? What is I do or if I don't do this? What is the next? And you can literally, I just want to say, like, people can literally figure out what the impact could be. Right. Like for you, your Him and Me dance. If you don't do it, you can literally think about the impact on those relationships, the impact on fathers. Like you can literally think about what happens if that doesn't exist. And people could do that for that thing that they feel stirring up in them too.
Which means you have to have immense passion for it, right? Because in order to care enough about the impact, that means you have to be immersed and really passionate about what you're thinking about doing. Because if you're not passionate about it, you're going to lose the fear battle every day. Because who cares, right? Who cares? I don't want to do it. Who cares? Because so you have to somehow find something that actually makes you say, oh, you know what? Is she right? Because if it doesn't, then you're not going to do it. I haven't cleaned my closet in like 2 weeks because I'm not passionate about it. But there's somebody somebody else at home that's like, ooh, a closet being dirty. Oh my God, the impact. You have to find the thing that makes you passionate, right? That makes you come alive. And you have to put your nuggets. Somebody said nuggets in the bucket there.
Yes.
Once you find that thing, think about the impact. Once you think about the impact, think about the first step.
Right.
The first thing you can do towards it, right? So for those who want to be, like I said, CEOs and corporate people, and you don't make that money today, the first steps are simple. It is put yourself in the environments of change, whether it be for the new job, mentoring by the new job, getting inside of one of these programs that offer mentorship. You know that you need to know more and be more to be that CEO.
Absolutely.
It's simple. You guys, we know.
Overcomplicate very simple.
We know this. We know this. We're educated. We went to 12 years of school.
More than that. Some of us. You got $250,000.
You know something. You know something. You know something. We make it so big. And then I think sometimes we allow that to be our excuse.
Yeah.
Right? We make it so big. And so I think step 1, passion. Step 2, I changed it. Step 2 is know the why. Step 3 is take the first step. And I think after that is simply keep stepping and never stop until you land on the thing that you believed in the first place. And ideally, yes, you're going to have moments of fear. What is fear? It is you facing an opportunity for the first time and you never doing it before, right? So forward thinking fear, or fear in love, is forward facing. That means you're walking forward, you're experiencing it, a longer journey. The negative side of fear, when you're talking about doing things out of fear, the negative way, you're going backwards.
Right.
You're going into manipulation and jealousy and envy and hate. So as long as you're doing things forward in love and resilience and passion and purpose, you're doing fear the right way. Now, if you decide to turn around into your past and into your pain, into the mud, into the grit, into the dirt, then you might be doing fear the wrong way. So you always have to be forward facing.
Yeah. Golly, you have shared so many.
Some people don't talk to me. They be like, you've been on the phone for an hour. And you
Okay, so step 1 is to understand the impact. Step 2 is identify your why, something that you're passionate about, or fear will consume you every single time.
Yep.
Right. Step 3 is to
take the first step.
I was gonna say that. Step 3 is to take the step. So that's 3 simple steps. Oh, look at Lacey. Thank you. She put
right. Go ahead. No, yes.
Identify the why, right? So first of all, you share so much, right? So y'all, whoever, if you didn't join, or you know other people that didn't join, you didn't see earlier, send it when we get off of here so people can see it, because there was just a lot of nuggets that were shared along the way. The 3 biggest takeaway, you said the one thing, I want to give you an opportunity to share the one thing that you said, if they don't take nothing else from today, what you want them to know about fear.
Yeah, is to keep stepping.
Yeah.
It's you know what to do, right? Yeah. Don't let the vastness or the bigness or the fullness of your vision or your instructions, that's really what it is, overwhelm you. You have to go back to the step 1 that you know how to do. God would never give you instruction that you don't know how to accomplish. He would never, he's not mean.
He calls you.
Imagine telling your kids, if you have children or brothers or sisters, imagine telling them to do something they have no idea how. And you're adamant about it. You're forcing them. You're adamant about, like, do this now. And they have no idea how to do it. That would be mean and cruel and almost harsh. So God is not a God like that, right? So if he gives you something to do, whether it be 10 years from now or next week, he understands that something in you already has the stamina, the strength, the fortitude, and the knowledge to do it. Give yourself enough credit to point the fingers back to you and say, I got this. I'm alive and I'm of dope use.
Right. Back to the affirmation.
I got this.
I was thinking about what you were saying about as parents, because it's like sometimes I put my children in those situations, but it's because I know that they have what's in them to be able to rise to that.
They got it.
Because it's like, I taught you this.
Yep. I
showed you this before.
I showed you this before.
You did this last time. You did the same thing. Remember, you can do it.
You can do it.
And that's what God is saying to us. And what you said earlier is fear does not exist. It doesn't exist, but because it came from somewhere And our job is to figure out where it came from so we can tackle that thing from where it's
It's
at.
just instruction. It's a part of the puzzle.
Yeah.
It's just instruction. It's just alerting you that something is there that needs your attention. It's an alarm. It's an alarm that says, hey, I'm going off and you need to turn me off in order to get success.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you don't turn me off, I'm going to beep the whole entire way to the process. So go ahead and turn me off. Address me. Put the batteries in me.
Yeah. Address me.
Because I'm important to your journey.
So don't see it as something to run from, but something to lean into.
Face it head on. Like this morning, I faced that, Monique, head on. I cried through it. And I said, okay. And she said, well, reply with the next steps. And I had to, right? But I replied and I hit send. And I don't know what's going to come from that send. And even now I'm welling up. I don't know what's next. And I'm still scared, right? I'm still scared. But when they answer, I know that I know that I'm ready or readier.
You were ready than you was before you found out.
I'm on step 3 instead of step 1. But
by the time they call, you done went back to your closet.
That's what we have to realize. By the time they call 6 months from now, I would have 6 months of steps that would have prepared me for the 6 months later. Along the way, you get instruction. You don't get them all at once. Along the way, you get the instruction. You don't get it all at once. Step one at a time.
Yeah, so much comes back to that idea of when you're impregnated with something. When you know, like for those of us that have birthed children, it's literally 1 month at a time. Each month is something different. You don't know what is going to happen within that next time period. You know what the doctors say is supposed to happen first semester, second. Listen, I had night sickness with my third son, and it was every day throughout my pregnancy. And each time my body did what it needed to do to allow me to go through that season. And if that's how we look at our lives, one, it releases pressure. I love what you said about just getting in alignment. So what's supposed to happen will happen if you are in alignment. But if you sit paralyzed, can't nothing take place. And if you're more comfortable there than facing that fear, well, shoot, that's a whole nother conversation.
And honestly, that's not who we're worried about. None of us. If you're on this podcast, joining her right now today, then you're not one of those, because those type of people aren't worried about progress.
Yes,
and you're already not that person because you're on here already, or you're sharing it, or you're sending your friends to it. So it's the person who doesn't even care about progress that is that person. So we're not talking to them. We're talking to people who have the tools, the design, the model, the makeup for progress.
Yes, and they just need a little breakthrough. Y'all just need a little breakthrough. That's it. That's what we're here for. Maybe a little
everybody, just do the one thing. Do the one thing today that you've been avoiding. The one conversation, the one email, the one phone call. Do the one thing that scared you, that you said, I'm scared of that. Posting the reel, making the influencer email, making the decision to be somebody. Do it today. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Toya and Monique said, I don't have to know, but I know I want to be further along than I am today. So I'm just going to just hit send and see what happens.
And begin to root yourself in that identity. So true story, as Toya shared her story, I am literally going through the same thing with pivoting my business, being a nonprofit consultant. I've been in the nonprofit field for over 15 years now. My company has been multi-six-figure and successful because I was doing consulting work. With me shifting to focusing on Black women and to figure out, to do the executive leadership coaching and to figure out what exactly I want to offer, but really just want to minister and influence and brand, but scared of if people going to tune in or not, right? Literally, I am walking through the path that I'm teaching you all so we can journey together, because I know without a shadow of a doubt what I'm called to do. And the first thing I have to do is to see myself as that. So that sometimes is just the first step. See yourself. Y'all got this because I sent a text or email or posted. Trust me, I ain't want to do none of them things. I don't want to do none of them things. I don't, because that's not what I'm used to. There's fear of rejection. There's fear of not being chosen. There's fear of abandonment, the same things that you described. But who will not be helped? Who got that message and showed up today and has been blessed by what Toya has been speaking? So I encourage you all, take the first step. And maybe the first step is just to start to see yourself as the thing that you aspire to be. Or send an email, or like Toya said, or do the post.
And that's where people say do it afraid. I think that's where you just do it anyway. You just do it anyway. You do it even though they're gonna laugh. You do it even though they're gonna you think they are. You do it even amongst your thinks. Whatever you think they're gonna do, just do it anyway amongst that.
Yeah.
People gonna look at it. Yeah, people not gonna show up. People not gonna like it. People go, they're gonna laugh. They're gonna do all of it, and then they're gonna love you. And then they're going to clap, and then they're going to smile. There's all of it happening.
Yeah.
So do it anyway.
Get out your head and do it anyway. All right. This was great.
I'm mute, y'all.
It blessed me. We could be on here all day, but we know y'all got to go back to lunch. Hey, Renee, how are you? So, Toya, tell people what you have going on, how they can support you, where they can find you, all of the things.
Okay. So I am online. I am showing up more online. So I am at a live Toya online. It's in my tag right there. So follow me online if you're watching this. The things I share, all these kind of stories in my captions. I also am doing the father-daughter dance. So if you have a daughter, know a daughter in the city of Cleveland, make sure you connect them to what I have going on. But again, I am on this journey of just showing up with my voice. So notice, you see the next season, I told you, if you know me, you'll know how much I speak behind the scenes and how much I don't speak on the scenes, which is why I'm being challenged to talk more, which is why Monique called. It's all in alignment. So just connect with me, pull it out of me, talk to me. I got to work for you always.
Yes. Unhiding and unlocking. So y'all break through with us, unhide and unlock with us. This is also an example of what you think you see of people and know of them, that they're likely going through the same thing that you're doing, but decided to move. Because as Toya said, as we move, you move just like that, right? Hi, Michelle. Hi, Marla. I want to remind you guys that before we go, I want to say connect with Toya. She shares awesome content. She's doing phenomenal things. We also not only deal with fear, most of us as Black women have daddy issues, unfortunately. So I love and am a supporter of the work that she's doing, because if we can heal and start to build the relationships between fathers and daughters, we will address some of the things that most of us women deal with that make it very difficult for us to have intimate relationships. So that's another day and another conversation. So we might have to do it again and talk about how that shows up in our lives. But I, again, am hosting a webinar on Wednesday where I am teaching you how to live your dream life now. And as Toya said, this is for women who know that there's a dream and aspiration and a goal within them, and they just need a breakthrough to help them get there. And don't subscribe. Let's break through this idea that it has to wait until ... whatever your until is. It does not. Why are you putting off your fulfillment, your joy, your peace, your freedom? Why do you think that you have to wait to have that? You don't. So Wednesday, I'm gonna put the link again. Oh, that's not the link. Lacey, if you could put the link in there for me, so you guys can sign up for that webinar. We're going to be here every Monday because I'm with Toya. I'm unhiding and I'm showing up. So I'm going to be here every Monday. So join us again next Monday. We always give a quote for the end, for the quote of the week for you guys to run with. And if you're not on our list, you need to be on our list. You can text Rise so you can get your inspirational messages. But do not fear the storm. It teaches you how to steer your ship. Oh, which goes so much into what you were saying today. Do not fear the storm, right? So do not fear the fear that's coming up in you. It's teaching you how to steer your ship and how to show up to that thing that you're being called to do. All right. Yep. You guys have a phenomenal week. Make it happen, right? And we'll see you next Monday. Share it with your people. Bye-bye.